Hi, this is Dr. Farley, and the blog today is going to be some new information that I've been going over and studying. I've been going back to looking at orthomolecular principles and also looking into vitamins and minerals and just going back, refreshing my mind and going really deep into these topics. I just recently read about four new books on just vitamin D alone. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about also is, so we have to remember too that there's the bare bones minimum of certain vitamins and minerals, there's the normal ranges, and then there's optimal function for you. So I want to go over today about skin cancer and vitamin D and the sun and everything else because I love when I am thinking about things on a regular basis and then gradually I read something that just reinforces and makes it concrete that my thoughts were correct. So I'm reading this book, and in the book we talked about the value of vitamin D. By the way, vitamin D was named incorrectly. It's a hormone. So they had discovered vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C in the 1920s-ish. In the 1930s, the next thing comes along called vitamin D. It was incorrectly termed a vitamin. It's actually a hormone. And every single cell inside of your brain and your body requires vitamin D. And where do you get vitamin D? From the sun. But what started to happen about 40 years ago was that we started to check the patients for skin cancer. So on a regular basis, we started to then get into this idea, just like the dentists tell you to come and get your mouth checked. Well, people started to get their skin checked on a regular basis. And let me just talk about death from skin cancer. Okay, so there's basically three types: squamous cell, basal cell, and then this malignant melanoma. Okay, so squamous cell, basal cell, by the way, these numbers are about 7 or 8 years old, so they could be off a little bit, but they're still, I'm sure it's proportional. There's about 1,500 skin cancers a year, and malignant melanoma about 8,000 a year. So this is a total of 9,500 people a year that will die from skin cancer. 9,500 people a year will die from skin cancer. Okay? So now I think to myself, 9,500 people a year, my gosh. So if I divide that out over 350 million people in the United States, your risk of dying of skin cancer is 0.0002714% risk. So how I always view everything is, boy, I'm not going to pay much attention to that because it's a very low risk across the board. Next thing is, what about cancer in general? Common cancers, all the other big stuff like the breast and all the other internal cancers that we see. Well, these are through the roof. These are over 600,000 a year. Okay, so it's a much bigger problem than skin cancer. So what we know is that when we're told for 40 years to stay out of the sun, we're going to lack proper vitamin D. And also keep in mind this also, it's not just vitamin D, because just because we know the sun does one component called vitamin D, we may be missing or not know for another 25 years what else we get from the sun. But the sun is health. Okay, the sun is health. It's been demonized into the idea of skin cancer. And I just explained to you how many people die a year. Your risk if you're out in the sun regularly is 0.00027% risk. Okay, your risk of internal cancers is over 600,000. What's that risk? 0.0016. So when I compare those two together, low vitamin D, which is one of the main causes of cancers across the board, you're at a 59% increased risk of dying of internal cancers than skin cancer. Okay? 59 times more risk of dying of internal cancers than skin cancer. So, what's the message? You should be out in the sun, getting unprotected sun for at least an hour or two a day, regularly. And you should not be putting protection on unless you're extremely white. And if you're extremely white, then maybe you give yourself 45 minutes to an hour and then you put some protection on. So not only are we staying out of the sun, when people are in the sun, they've lathered themselves up. I see most people are getting lathered up at home and then going to the beach. Guess what that means? Less vitamin D. Oh, by the way, how much vitamin D do you make when you're out in the sun? Well, the RDA for vitamin D is 400 IUs a day. They tell you that you should get through your food, okay? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Everyone is depleted. So, what do you get when you're out in the sun? About 30 to 40,000 IUs a day when you're out in the sun for 1 hour. 1 hour, you get 30 to 40,000 IUs a day. So it's ridiculous, the RDA amount that we have. Could this be the reason why we're seeing cancers through the roof? I mean, who doesn't have cancer? It's crazy. It's crazy. So the point being, again, you need to get unprotected sun on a regular basis every day, probably 1 to 2 hours. By the way, one more thing. If you're dark, if your skin is black, okay, the darker you are, the more time you need in the sun, okay? Because you have the melanin, which means the sun doesn't penetrate. So a very white, and I'm thinking of my niece and nephew, redhead, white, pale person may need an hour in a day, and they're good to go. A very dark-skinned person might need 2 to 3 hours a day. One more thing. Could this be the reason why within the black community we see so many diseases through the roof? Wow. Imagine that. Yeah, could be. Makes total sense. By the way, one more thing. The further away from the equator we move, we see all diseases go up proportionally. All of them go up. Okay? The other thing you want to know too, since the 1970s, we started telling everybody to stay out of the sun. In 1980s, we started telling everyone to lather up with all of the sunblock. And what do we see? The further away from the equator, diseases go up proportionally. What do we also see? Since the 1980s, diseases have gone up massively. Okay, so the sun is health. Don't buy the hype. Get yourself some unprotected sun, you and your children. Again, you don't want to be out there burning, but a good amount of sun every single day is essential to your health. And in what my estimation, this is probably one of the main reasons for the cause of internal cancers across the board. Oh, one last thing. Also, what they find with people with skin cancer is the people that actually do still get some unprotected sun have some better long-lasting results with the skin cancer. So even the people that have skin cancer could still get some, and over a time frame, lower their risk of internal cancers and the risk of skin cancer. And then the last thing is most malignant melanoma is not found on the skin or the areas that are most out in the sun on many people. Now, some it is, okay? But for many, it's not. And one more thing I want to throw in here also. The other point that gets lost, and the book said this exactly, is that sun exposure is only one risk factor for cancer. One, okay? What else do you know about what you should be doing to lower your cancer risk? What else do you know about your overall health to lower your cancer risk? And most of the time, people don't know anything. We're being told these are genetic problems and there's nothing you can do, and stay out of the sun because, oh my God, you're going to die from the sun. It's all bad advice the way that I see it. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And as always, God bless you and your family, and God bless the United States. Have a great day. Thank you.